I discuss three civilian nominees, Mr. Robert Storch, Ms. Tia Johnson, and Mr. Russell Rumbaugh, who are each nominated to hold critical positions within the Department of Defense. They have been on the executive calendar for months, yet I am unaware of any objection to these nominees related to their qualifications for the positions for which they have been nominated. I need not remind my colleagues, with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the increasingly aggressive actions of China, how critically important it is to ensure the Defense Department has the manpower, the people power it needs to do its job well. I would also like to note that in the past, my colleagues have been very cognizant of this need for the smooth workings of the Defense Department, and nominees for the department, both civilian and military, have been voted out of committee and off the floor quickly, typically by unanimous consent. I find it ironic now, at a time when we see unparalleled threats to our national security, that nominees for the Department of Defense will be held for months on end, with no objections on qualifications, without any path to confirmation other than a cloture vote. There are presently 8 Defense Department nominees waiting on the executive calendar. At the end of next week, it will be 12. And today I would like to discuss these 3 individuals. Mr. Robert Storch is nominated to be the Department of Defense Inspector General and was favorably reported out of the Armed Services Committee on March 8th, 2022. The Defense Department has not had a Senate-confirmed Inspector General since January 8th, 2016. I'll repeat that. The Defense Department has not had a Senate-confirmed Inspector General since January 2016. The last nominee put forward by then-President Obama was withdrawn by President Trump on February 28, 2017. Mr. Trump designated the Honorable Sean O'Donnell as the acting DoD IG on April 6, 2020, but the GAO recently issued a decision that Mr. O'Donnell's continuing service as the acting Inspector General is in violation of the Vacancies Act. As such, there is really no effective Inspector General in the Department of Defense, the largest agency in the federal government. For these reasons, in addition to the fundamental importance of the IG's work, the Senate needs to confirm Mr. Storch as soon as possible. The department has been without a Senate-confirmed IG for more than 6 years, and we cannot wait any longer. Ms. Tia Johnson was reported out of the committee on April 5, 2022, and would become one of 5 judges on the Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces, often referred to as the Supreme Court of Military Law. The court's next hearing is scheduled for October 12, 2022, where it will consider important jurisdictional and substantive issues in military criminal law. Importantly, the FY 22 NDAA implemented extensive changes to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, including a statute that would criminalize sexual harassment under some circumstances. Johnson will play a critical role on the Court of Appeals in reviewing challenges and issues with recent sexual assault and sexual harassment statutes, including defendants' rights under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Without Ms. Johnson, the court risks deadlock, which will further hamper the military's ability to provide good order and discipline, which is fundamental to any military force. Mr. Russell Rumbaugh was nominated on March 21, 2022 to serve as the Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Financial Management and Comptroller. This nomination was privileged, so it did not require a hearing and was intended to move expeditiously. The committee sent policy questions to Mr. Rumbaugh and received his answers on April 25, 2022. The committee reported out his nomination on May 12th, and pursuant to Senate Resolution 116, his nomination was moved 10 days later to the appropriate section of the executive calendar and was ready for confirmation by the full Senate. So his confirmation has been waiting for 2 months. The Navy has not had a confirmed Assistant Secretary for Financial Management and Comptroller since July 2020. This role is critical to managing the budget and financial readiness of the Navy and the Marine Corps, to include a department's audit. And so many will point out and criticize, with some reasonableness, the fact that the Department of Defense has not yet passed an audit. Well, it's very difficult to pass an audit if you have critical individuals who are not in place to help you prepare for and pass such an audit. So that's another reason I think the Navy needs a comptroller. Each of these positions are critically important to the Department of Defense. The sooner they assume their offices, the better for the Department's ability to tackle these challenges on behalf of service members and their families and the nation. And indeed, the sooner they are there, the more we will be able to support the men and women in uniform in the United States who are deployed across the globe. They need that kind of support here in Washington. With that, Mr. President, I would ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to executive session to consider the following nominations en bloc. Numbers 843, numbers 861, and numbers 972. That the nominations be agreed to without intervening action or debate, the motions to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table, and that any statements related to the nominations be printed in the record, that the President be immediately notified of the Senate's action.
Is there objection?
Mr. President,
The Senator from Missouri.
I object.
The objection is heard.
Well, Mr. President, the Senator from Missouri has objected, and I believe he's the only individual member of the Senate who objects. And in that case, I think I would be prepared to offer another unanimous consent that would allow debate upon these members, because that, I think, should be satisfactory to the senator, because it will give him an opportunity to express his objections to these individuals and why they're not qualified to be in office. With that, Mr. President, I renew my above request, except that I ask unanimous consent that at a time to be determined by the majority leader, in consultation with the Republican leader, the Senate proceed to executive session, that there be 1 hour for debate equally divided in the usual form on the nominations en bloc, that upon the use or yielding back of time, the Senate vote on nominations in the order listed, and the following disposition of nominations, and that following disposition of nominations, the Senate resume legislative